Hey, hi all. Welcome back to BLR Knowledge Center. In this session, we'll see like how to install .NET. So to install .NET, so as I mentioned, .NET provides different languages and technologies instead of .NET Framework. So this ASP.NET basically requires kind of abstraction layer like Visual Studio IDE. So where we have different options there to use to develop websites. So we must install Visual Studio. This is integrated development environment for writing and compiling and debugging of your code. So this Visual Studio can be downloaded from your website, and it's an open source where you can simply go and download it. Let me see here. This is www.visualstudio.com, where the official website by Microsoft. We can see all the versions and download it. Going to download. So we have basically different versions here: community, professional, and enterprise. Community was a powerful IDE, free for students, open source. This is for best suited for small teams, for the companies, and scalable and end-to-end solution for teams of any size. This is enterprise. So I suggest you install community for so far I think we are just learning just a learning stage, and just install community version, just downloading here, free download, and then it will get installed. So ASP.NET provides an abstraction layer on top of HTTP on which the web applications are built. It provides high level entities such as classes and components. Hence, I think the key development tool for building ASP.NET applications and front end is Visual Studio. Okay, so after downloading here, I think I'll just open one of old screens. I think Studio 2008 it seems, and later I'll show you the latest version of Visual Studio Code. Okay, so what happened is it sharing my screen? I guess right. Uh, Coming here is that right. So once you download it, so thing is you need to install that, right? So once you download and then run installer, first when you run the installer, right, you will get first screen was this thing. I think I'm just showing a word version of this community version. So where you can choose the location path of your installation, right, and then you just select typical or custom, and then you click on install. Once you click on that, it will start installing. It just start applying and acquiring the space. Basically it requires a couple of space bytes in your system where you mention the path. It will acquiring the space size, whether it is having it in your system or not, and then it will start applying this. And then once it is done, right, sorry, it will get like setup completed. So once it is done, you need to restart your server, and then we need to open that Visual Studio Code. So once it is done, only thing is you need to type it here like Visual Studio, and when you just open it, it will just open latest version of this thing. So when you just open it, you will have IDE like this. So with a menu bar, and this is what the IDE, and we have a toolbox here with the different kind of toolboxes here. You can check all the options once you add web page, and you will have a solution explorer here. This is where showing all your projects. So far I've not created or selected any project here, hence it is empty. I'm just telling about the installation steps here. Okay, so once it is done, and you will see this welcome screen, and after that you will see this Visual Studio IDE, right? So with that, so what you will do is you will basically looking at the screen, and you can access menu bar and a couple of other things. So when you start creating the solution, I mean project, like in my case, when I go to the my Visual Studio here, by default, when I say new project, so it will show you already kind of stuff. And if you wanted to go with some ASP.NET stuff, right? So I'll just select this framework and just click on that. By default, it will tell you some information, right? Project name and the location and the solution, the default framework version here. And you can give ASP.NET sample or first application or something, and just to create it, so that it will ask a couple of things like empty you wanted to create, or web forms or MVC or API or a single page applications. As I explained you in the previous session, it is come up with different kind of packages here: ASP.NET Web Forms, ASP.NET MVC, or ASP.NET Web API, or ASP.NET single page applications. So based on that, you are going to choose here. For now, I think I'm only looking at ASP.NET Web Forms. I'll choose this and click on this so that it will start creating the folders. Okay, so adding folders and files to your website, everything will get loaded, right? So once you add that stuff, you will select and choose that, like it is going to add it to your solution. Okay, and when I say this and I say create, what it will do is it will start creating the application, right, with the name I mentioned, and then it will add and show you in the solution explorer. So basically, the Solution Explorer, you can add any folder or file if you want it. When a new web form is created, Visual Studio automatically generates the starting HTML for the form. Okay, so to do add standard folders or configuration files, ASP.NET folders, you can add it. This is a standard structure it is coming up with. Okay, the default page is also coming up with here. Okay, so this projects and solutions. This is Solution Explorer, and this is the project. Under this project, we have different folders by default, creating by Microsoft, and you use whatever page you wanted it. By default, every page is having web.config and site master and global.aspx and default.aspx. This is the default.aspx is coming up with some HTML stuff here. Okay, so so a typical ASP.NET application consists of many items, the web content and kind of folders. Like web content means .aspx page here, and I just chosen the C#, hence is coming with .cs file. This is the code behind what I said in the earlier session. You must have some language. Here I chosen language is C#, hence it is showing in the C# language. So basically, we have three files: aspx, aspx.cs, aspx.designer.cs. This is going to show you the designer stuff here. Okay, so every page is having three files. Every page selection or every page adding to your ASP.NET project. These are the web pages. Is having three extension files: .cs, .aspx, .designer.cs. Okay, so and when a new website is created, okay, automatically creates all these folders, right? So solutions may contains one or more projects. Like here, one project, I can add another project if I wanted. Like I add a new project, something, right? So a project contains content files, source files, and other files like data source and image files. So many stuff it is adding by default here. When you look at here, app data and app start, basically looking for starting of your website. If you wanted to put some configurations here, you have to choose this. And content and this font and scripts, all these default stuff is adding it. So if you wanted to use it, otherwise you will leave them. It's not having any problem. Okay, so this is something I think you need to install and see that different options. And in the coming session, we'll see like how to create a sample application and run through Visual Studio IDE and see how it is working. Okay, this is something we need to know follow steps to install it for whatever version. This is the latest version Visual Studio, and coming up with this variety of packages, community and professional and enterprise. And based on the size and based on the purpose you are using this .NET framework, you choose that and download it anyway, because it all depends on the selection of the software you are choosing here. It looks for that much of size on your system. So if it is community, I think it is coming up with kind of required features, but not all. Professional, similar, and enterprise coming up with all other features as well. And it requires a lot of space on your system to be installed this. So it's all about space on your system and choosing of and the purpose where basically looking for development of website or the context you are working. All these considerations you have to take it and then download the relevant package here. Okay, so this is something steps you need to follow it to do installation from the starting to installer file. So once it is done, just open and select the project you wanted to create, kind of ASP.NET, and then run through. So thanks for listening to this video, and please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you.